Hello everyone, this is Dr. Lakshmi from SNH department, St. Peter's Engineering College. In this class, I am going to teach you the concept of diagonalization. So before I explain you the concept of diagonalization, let me briefly review about the similarity transformation for which the knowledge of similar matrices is necessary. So in one of our previous classes, I have explained you what are called similar matrices. Okay, let me tell you that the same once again. Suppose that we are given a square matrix A. Corresponding to this, if there exists a non-similar matrix P such that, if there exists P such that P inverse into A into P is a diagonal matrix, then we say that the matrix A is similar to the matrix D. We say that A is similar to the matrix D. Right? So to say that the matrix is similar to matrix D, it should be satisfied by the matrix A and D and P, that P inverse AP is equal to D. And the expression we have shown here, the equation P inverse AP equal to D, showing the similarity of the matrices A and D, is known as the similarity transformation. Is called as the similarity transformation. The reason is, in this transformation, in this equation, we are showing the similarity of the two matrices. Also, the transformation of the given matrix to a diagonal matrix is shown in this expression. Because of that reason, we say that the expression P inverse AP equal to D is a similarity transformation. Suppose in this similarity transformation, the matrix P is an orthogonal matrix. As you all know, what is an orthogonal matrix? If the transpose of a matrix is equal to its inverse, we say that a matrix is orthogonal, right? So here in this case, in this similarity transformation, P inverse AP equal to D, if the matrix P is an orthogonal matrix, it satisfies the result that P transpose is equal to P inverse. Then we say that P is orthogonal and the similarity transformation is an orthogonal transformation. Right? Here I have explained you the similar matrices. With that, the similarity transformation. Based on the similarity transformation, according to the type of the matrix P orthogonal, calling it as an orthogonal transformation. The knowledge of the similarity and orthogonal transformation is necessary for understanding and solving problems related to the process of diagonalization. Now let me tell you about diagonalization. It is a process, right? So what is diagonalization? It is a process where a given matrix transforms to a diagonal matrix using similarity transformation. Am I clear? A process where a given square matrix changes to a diagonal matrix using similarity transformation P inverse AP equal to D. So when using similarity transformation, a square matrix is reducing to a diagonal matrix. That process is known as diagonalization, or simply we can say that the process of converting the matrix to a diagonal matrix is called diagonalization. We have one of the important applications of this process. As we told in the case of Cayley-Hamilton theorem, using Cayley-Hamilton theorem, we can easily determine both the powers and inverse also. Similar to that, we have an application to this diagonalization. Using this, it is easier to determine the powers of the matrices. So we can determine A power n by using the process of diagonalization. That I will show the process, that I will explain now, and later we can have the problem related to that power calculation also. Suppose that the similarity transformation is P inverse AP is equal to D. and we need to calculate what is a power n. This has to be calculated. Or for our simple, easier understanding, let us see how to calculate a power 4. In order to calculate a power 4 from the process of diagonalization or from the similarity transformation, what we have to do is, we have to separate this a from this expression on the left hand side. For that, we pre-multiply with p and post-multiply with p inverse on both sides. When we pre-multiply with p into p inverse become I. So then it reduces to AP is equal to p into d. When we post-multiply on both sides, post means the right hand side of p. With p inverse, we get p into p inverse is I. It reduces to a equal to p into d into p inverse. In order to get a power 4, we multiply with a on both sides. On both sides of this, we multiply with a. We get a square is equal to p d p inverse into p d p inverse, which gives us p d, in the middle p inverse into p into d into p inverse. It is p, in the middle p inverse p is I, so d into d reduces to d square into p inverse. A square become p d square p inverse. Generalizing this, we can have a power n, or in this case a power 4 equals to p into d power 4 into p inverse. And this is the rule by which we can calculate the powers of any given matrix by using the process of diagonalization. Right? So what is diagonalization? It is the process of transforming a given square matrix to a diagonal matrix using the similarity transformation. And one of the applications of the similarity transformations is to determine the powers of the matrices. And it can be done by using the formula a power n is equal to p into d power n into p inverse. Right? Now let us have the two problems related to this diagonalization process. Look at the first question. The matrix is given, a 3 by 3 square matrix is given. We have to diagonalize the given matrix, means we have to reduce the given square matrix to the diagonal matrix. And before we solve the given question, let me introduce two important terms, the important terminology related to this process of diagonalization. As we told just now, the similarity transformation is P inverse AP equal to D. In this expression, the right hand side matrix D, which is a diagonal matrix, will always contain the diagonal elements as the eigenvalues of A, and the matrix D is called as spectral matrix. So remember, the right hand side diagonal matrix is called as the spectral matrix. It is a diagonal matrix whose diagonal elements are always the eigenvalues of the given square matrix. And we can see a matrix P on the left hand side. This P is termed as the modal matrix. It is termed as the modal matrix, and this modal matrix is formed by grouping independent eigenvectors of the given square matrix. So in this process of diagonalization, I have introduced you two important words, modal matrix and spectral matrix. Modal matrix is the matrix P, which is obtained by grouping the linearly independent eigenvectors of the given square matrix. Similarly, the spectral matrix is the diagonal matrix of the process, which we get on the right side, and will always contain the eigenvalues of the given square matrix as its diagonal elements. Now let us transform the two of the given matrices to the corresponding diagonal matrices. Look at the first one. We can clearly see that the first matrix is not a symmetric matrix, whereas the second matrix is a symmetric matrix. Because the second matrix is a symmetric matrix, I am telling you an important point. Please make it a note. Listen it carefully. Listen to it. We are given two matrices here where the first one is not symmetric whereas the second is a symmetric matrix. Because the second is a symmetric matrix, it can be easily diagonalized by using orthogonal transformation, means a similarity transformation with the model matrix is orthogonal. Whereas the first matrix can be diagonalized using the similarity matrix, the similarity transformation. It cannot be diagonalized by using orthogonal transformation, right? So the first example, the matrix we are going to diagonalize using similarity transformation. For that what we need is, we need to calculate the model matrix. And by our process, what is our model matrix? It should contain the independent eigenvectors. So according to our calculation of P, we need first the eigenvalues, then the independent eigenvectors, right? Then we form the model matrix and followed by the diagonalization. So for getting the eigenvectors or the eigenvalues, we start with the characteristic equation. As we know, the characteristic equation is det of A minus lambda equal to 0. That is det of 1 minus lambda 0 minus 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, in the middle diagonal element we should have 2 minus lambda. And the last one is 2, 2, 3 minus lambda is equal to 0. On simplification we get, right? On simplification, please listen carefully. On simplification we get, it is 1 minus lambda into cross multiplication of the 4 elements here. It is lambda square minus 2 minus 3 minus 5 lambda. It is 6 minus 2. We have plus 4. Right? 1 minus lambda into the 4 elements. The cross product of the 4 elements. Minus 0 into anything is 0. Next it is minus 1 of. Right here. Minus 1 of the cross product of these 4 elements. It is 2 ones are 2. Minus of 4. Minus of minus plus 2 lambda is equal to 0. We get 1 into lambda square minus 5 lambda plus 4 minus lambda cube plus 5 lambda square minus 4 lambda. It is 2 minus 4 is minus 2 into minus 1. It is plus 2 minus 2 lambda is equal to 0. And finally we get minus lambda cube plus 5 plus 1. We have 6 lambda square. Right? Next we have minus 5 lambda minus 4 lambda minus 9 lambda minus 2 lambda minus 11 lambda. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. This is our characteristic equation. When we apply the Cayley-Hamilton theorem, we need not have to apply the Cayley-Hamilton theorem, I am sorry. So after getting this characteristic equation, straight away we calculate the eigenvalues. On simplifying this expression, when we factorize this, we have lambda minus 1 into lambda minus 2 into lambda minus 3 is equal to 0. Right? These factors I have got from the cross multiply, the factorization method, synthetic division method. Any method we can apply. All those methods you are all familiar with. So I am not showing the methods here. I have written directly the factors. So for the problem 1, we have seen that the eigenvalues are lambda 1 equal to 3, lambda 2 equal to 2 and lambda 3 is equal to 1. Now let us see what is the eigenvector corresponding to lambda 1 equal to 3. So let us suppose that the eigenvector is x1 with the column of unknowns x, y, z. Okay. So when x1 is the eigenvector corresponding to lambda 1 of the matrix A, with this A, lambda 1 and x1, the homogeneous system can be easily written. Let me tell you that short way of writing the homogeneous system looking at the matrix A using the eigenvalue 3 and the eigenvector x1. Right? Look at the diagonals of the given matrix A. The eigenvalue 3 has to be subtracted from the 3. The 3 diagonals. It becomes 1 minus 3. Coming from the first row, we have 1 minus 3. Minus 2, 0, minus 1. When minus 2, 0, minus 1 are multiplied with the respective variables x, y, z, we have the homogeneous system minus 2 into x1 plus 0y minus 2x plus 0y minus z equal to 0. Similarly, from the second equation, second row, we have 1, so 1 into x plus 2 minus 3, it is minus y plus 1 into z plus z equal to 0. From the last row we have 2, so 2x plus 2, it is plus 2y plus 3 minus 3, we have 0z equal to 0. These are the three equations we have. The three equations represent the homogeneous system corresponding to the eigenvalue 3 of the given matrix A. From the system, now it is easier for us to calculate the eigenvector x1. Now look at the first equation. Because minus 2x equal to z, it can be written as 2x is equal to z. Right? It is minus 2x equal to z. So minus 2x equal to z, or otherwise, yeah, minus x is equal to z by 2. Keep it aside. From the third equation we have x plus y equal to 0. This is from the first equation we wrote. From the third equation we can write x plus y 0, or x is equal to minus y, or minus 1 x is equal to plus y. From the two equations we have minus x is z by 2 and minus x is plus y. Therefore minus x is equal to y is equal to z by 2. So y gives y by 1, x gives x by minus 1. And accordingly we have the first eigenvector is capital X1 equal to small x is minus 1, y is 1, z is 2. This is the eigenvector corresponding to the first eigenvalue 3 of the matrix. Similarly, let us determine the eigenvector corresponding to the second eigenvalue 2. Let us suppose capital X2 equal to the column xyz be the eigenvector corresponding to the second eigenvalue 2. As I told in the previous case, for the writing of homogeneous system corresponding to 3, we do apply the same here also. For writing the homogeneous system, we need to subtract these 2 from the diagonals of the given matrix, and row wise we can write the different equations. From the first row, 2 is subtracted from first diagonal, so 1 minus 2 gives us minus 1 into x. We have minus x plus 0y minus z. Minus x minus z 0, equation 1. From the second row similarly, it is 1, 2 minus 2, 1. So it is x plus z equal to 0. From the third equation we have 2x plus 2y plus 3 minus 2, it is 1z equal to 0. Right? It is clear that the two equations 1 and 2 are same. So it is only one possibility, 1 can be taken from 1 and 2. Right? From the second equation we can write x is equal to minus z. Using that x equal to minus z in the 3, the third equation implies we have 2 into x is minus z, so minus 2z plus z is already there. So we get minus z plus 2y 0. This we get from the third equation using the result that we get from 2. Now from minus z plus 2y 0 we have 2y is equal to z. Right? So already we have x equal to minus z and now z equal to 2y. Combining the two we have x is equal to minus z. Z is 2y and this minus 2y or x is equal to minus z. So this also can be written x by 2 is equal to y by minus 1 is equal to z by, it is x by 2 is equal to y by minus 1 is equal to z by minus 2. Okay, so with this the second eigenvector is going to be 2 minus 1 minus 2. Now corresponding to the third eigenvalue, let us suppose that x3, the column of xyz is the eigenvector. Now subtracting the eigenvalue 3 from the diagonals of the matrix A, we have the corresponding homogeneous system given by 1 minus 1 0. So 0 into x, 0 into y, minus 1 into z. We have minus z 0. Next we have from the second row 1, 2 minus 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. We have x plus y plus z equal to 0. From the last row, 2x plus 2y plus 3 minus 1. It is 2z equal to 0. First equation gives us directly z0. And when we substitute this z equal to 0 in the 2 and 3, we have the second implies x plus y equal to 0, which gives x is minus y. Because the second and third equations are same, from the third also we get the same result, that x equal to minus y. Because x equal to minus y and already z equal to 0 from the first equation, we now can conclude corresponding to the third eigenvector that x is 1, x by 1, that is x equal to 1, and minus y can be written y by minus 1. So we have y equal to minus 1, already z equal to 0. So this is how we calculate corresponding to the 3 eigenvalues, the 3 eigenvectors. Now let us check whether the 3 eigenvectors are independent, linearly independent or not. Linearly independent means we have to check whether any one of the vector depend on the other vector. When we observe the 3 vectors, it is clear that x1 do not depend on x2 or x3. Similarly, x2 and x3 also do not depend on the remaining 2 vectors, which just implies that the 3 vectors are linearly independent. Since the 3 vectors are linearly independent, grouping the 3 vectors, now we can form the model matrix P. First column, writing the first column as the first eigenvector, minus 1, 1, 2. Second column as the second eigenvector. Third column, the third eigenvector. This is the model matrix P formed by grouping the linearly independent eigenvectors. Now this is the model matrix P, which is now useful to change the given square matrix into a diagonal matrix. Now from this matrix P, from this model matrix P, we can calculate P inverse. So we are sure that P inverse exists. The reason for P inverse existence is P is having the independent column of eigenvectors. So definitely let P become non-zero, and we are sure that P inverse exists. Since P inverse exists, we can calculate it by using either Gauss-Jordan method or simply by the adjoint method. Even we can use the calculator also for getting the P inverse. So when we calculate that P inverse in any mode, we are going to get this P inverse is equal to the first column 1 minus 1, 0. The next column, sorry, it is 1, 1. It is 1, 1 minus 1. The next column, it is 1, 1, 0. The third column, it is 0, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. This is P inverse corresponding to this matrix P we are going to get. Right. Now with this P inverse, we can diagonalize the given matrix. And this P inverse is used for diagonalizing the matrix in the way of finding out the product P inverse into A into P. We substitute the P inverse matrix here. Then we substitute the matrix A here. Then we substitute the matrix P here. So this is the matrix A, this is the matrix P inverse. When we substitute all the 3, this is a P, we substitute here, A substituted here, P inverse here. When we multiply the 3 matrices, we are going to get a diagonal matrix. Means all the non-diagonals are zeros, and the diagonals are the eigenvalues of the given square matrix in the same order as we wrote our eigenvectors for making the model matrix P. The order we have taken in the problem are 3, 2, 1. So this is called the spectral matrix. It is the result of the process of diagonalization. Now let us learn how this symmetric matrix be diagonalized by using the orthogonal transformation. The reason for using orthogonal transformation for diagonalizing this is, right, because this is symmetric. If we get the independent set of eigenvalues, we will also get the independent set of eigenvectors. If the independent eigenvectors are pairwise orthogonal also, we are able to form the normalized model matrix, which can directly, without the calculation of P inverse, as it become orthogonal by its process of construction, it can convert, which can diagonalize the given symmetric matrix to a diagonal matrix that can change the given symmetric matrix to a diagonal matrix. So we are going to now apply orthogonal transformation for changing this to a diagonal matrix. So as usual, let us calculate. Let us see how the characteristic equation of the matrix can be obtained. So the characteristic equation of the matrix is det of A minus lambda equal to 0. That is det of 3 minus lambda minus 1 1 minus 1 5 minus 5 1 5 minus lambda minus 1 5 minus lambda minus 1 1 minus 1 3 is equal to 0. When we expand the determinant, please check on your own in your notebook. We are going to get here minus lambda cube plus 11 lambda square minus 36 lambda plus 36 equal to 0. Right? When we factorize this, we have lambda minus 6 into lambda minus 2 into lambda minus 3 is equal to 0. Giving us the eigenvalues, lambda 1 equal to 6, lambda 2 is equal to 2, lambda 3 is equal to 3. Now corresponding to lambda 1 equal to 6, let us calculate the eigenvector. Suppose the eigenvector x1 corresponding to this lambda 1 is capital X1 with XYZ column. Right? Corresponding to this 6, with the shortcut technique I have explained you, this 6 has to be subtracted from the diagonal elements and row wise we can write the homogeneous system. So it is 3 minus 6. We get minus 3 into x minus y plus z equal to 0. Next minus x plus 5 minus 6 minus y minus z equal to 0. Next it is x minus y plus 3 minus 6. It is minus 3z equal to 0. All the three equations are linearly independent. They are all different. So we can choose any of the two to get the eigenvector x1. Suppose we choose the first two. So we write the variables first. From the first two equations we have in the order starting with the coefficient of y, we write the coefficients as minus 1, 1, minus 3, minus 1. From the second equation we have minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. On cross multiplication we get x by, it is 1 plus 1, 2, y by minus 1 minus 3, we have minus 4. Z by, so is equal to z by 3 minus 1, it is 2. When these 2 minus 4, 2 are cancelled by 2, we have 1 minus 2, 1, and therefore the eigenvector can be written as 1 minus 2, 1. So 1 minus 2, 1 is the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue 6 of the given matrix. Now similarly let us solve what is the eigenvector corresponding to lambda 2 is equal to 2. Suppose that the eigenvector is x2 equal to the column xyz. Now the corresponding homogeneous system is eigenvalue 2 subtracted from the first diagonal 3 minus 2. We get 1 into x minus y plus z equal to 0. From the next row we have from the diagonal 5 2 subtracted. So minus 1 into x plus 5 minus 2 we have 3y minus 1 into z equal to 0. From the last row 2 subtracted from the third diagonal we have x minus y plus z equal to 0. It is clear that the last and the first equations are same. So we solve the first and third or the second and the third equations. So considering the second and third using the cross multiplication method, writing the coefficients starting with the y coefficient, we have 3 minus 1 minus 1 3 minus 1 1 minus 1 1 1 minus 1 giving us x by 3 minus 1 2, y by minus 1 plus 1 we have 0, z by 1 minus 3 minus 2. So cancelling these two we have 1 0 minus 1 and the second eigenvector is 1 0 minus 1. Okay, the second eigenvector is 1 0 minus 1 corresponding to the second eigenvalue. Similarly now we calculate what is the third eigenvector corresponding to the third eigenvalue 3, right? When lambda 3 is equal to 3. So let us suppose when lambda 3 is equal to 3, let x3 be the eigenvector whose entries are xyz. Corresponding to this lambda equal to 3, the homogeneous system, we can write from the first row, it is 3 minus 3, 0x minus y plus z equal to 0. From the second row, subtracting 3 from the second diagonal element, minus 1, 2, minus 1, it is minus x plus 2y minus z equal to 0. From the last row, we have x minus y, 3 minus 3 becomes 0, we have 0 z. Clearly, from the first equation, we have y equal to z. From the third, we have x equal to y. Therefore, we have x equal to y equal to z, or x is 1, y is 1, z is 1, and the third eigenvector in the case is 1, 1, 1. Now observe the three eigenvectors. First one is 1 minus 2, 1. Second is 1, 0 minus 1. The third is 1, 1, 1. Clearly, no vector depend on the other two. They are linearly independent. Because the matrix is symmetric, now we need to check whether the three eigenvectors are pairwise orthogonal. Means we consider any pair and we see whether the inner product is equal to 0. Suppose we consider x1 dot x2. The inner product is x1 transpose into x2. Multiplying x1 transpose with x2. x1 transpose is 1 minus 2, 1, the row matrix. And x2 is the column 1, 0 minus 1. When we find the product, we have 1, 0 minus 1 giving 0. It implies that x1 dot x2 equal to 0 or x1 comma x2 are orthogonal. Similarly, it can be shown that x2 dot x3 and x1 dot x3 give us 0. So it is clear that along with the linearly independent nature of the eigenvectors, they are pairwise orthogonal also. Because the vectors are independent and pairwise orthogonal, we are now able to calculate the normalized model matrix. The normalized model matrix is denoted by P, where the first column is E1, second column is E2, third column is E3. The first column we can get by normalizing the first eigenvector x1. So we write first the entries of x1, 1 minus 2, 1. From the vector 1 minus 2, 1, we normalize to get the vector E1. So the norm of the vector is denoted by norm x1. The norm x1 is calculated by dividing each of its elements by the length of the vector, right? The norm of the vector, let me tell you now, the norm of the vector is calculated by finding the square of each of the entries, that is 1 square plus minus 2 whole square plus 1 square, which give us root over 1 plus 4 plus 1, it is root 6. When each of the elements of the vector x1 are divided by this norm, which is root x, root 6, we get the vector E1. So first normalized vector is 1 by root 6 minus 2 by root 6 and 1 by root 6. Right? Now, corresponding to E2, the normalized vector is, since the norm of x2 is root over 1 plus 0 plus 1, we have root 2. So the normalized vector E2 is 1 by root 2, 0 minus 1 by root 2. Since the norm of x3, where is our x3? It is shown to be 1, 1, 1. So the norm is root over 1 plus 1 plus 1, 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. It is 1 plus 1 plus 1 in the root. So root 3 is the norm. So we have the normalized vector A3 corresponding to the third eigenvector is 1 by root 3, 1 by root 3, 1 by root 3. Right? Now this is called the normalized model matrix. By the way of its construction, clearly it can be said that the matrix P is orthogonal. Since the matrix P is orthogonal, it implies P inverse is equal to P transpose. And therefore, the product P inverse AP reduces to P transpose AP. And the product when we calculate, we are going to get a spectral matrix D, which is the diagonal matrix whose diagonal elements are the eigenvalues in the same order as we choose in the problem in its solution. 6, 2, 3, the remaining all elements are 0. And this is the spectral matrix, and this is how we diagonalize the given square matrix. In the given problem itself, it is given to calculate what is the A power 4. Now by the process of diagonalization, let me show you how the power 4, a power 4 can be calculated. By the process of diagonalization, a power 4 can be calculated using the formula P d power 4 P inverse. P is already taken now. D power 4 is power 4 of the diagonals. 2 power 4, 3 power 4, right? And P inverse already we have taken to be the P transpose. When we multiply this P and P transpose with the D power 4, we are going to get A power 4 directly, and in this particular problem we get 291. It is 291. It is here minus 405. Here it is 235. And this element is minus 405. This is 235. In the middle we have 891. Sorry, this element we are going to get 265. It is 265. This element is also minus 405. This is minus 405. And finally we have got 265 here. Please check this calculation part by your own in your notebook. Right? So using the formula a power 4 equal to P d power 4 P inverse, we can calculate the required power by the process of diagonalization. I hope you all understood. Thank you one and all.